Hey guys, Victoria here and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be on my exam day routine, meaning what I do on the exam day itself. And I know that trials is coming up for some of you guys real soon, so I hope that this video comes at the right time. Also, along with this video, yesterday I just posted a chemistry paper 3 video, and along with this video today, I'll be posting biology paper 3 answering technique video as well. So if you take those subjects, make sure to go check those videos out. You guys have been requesting for paper 3 videos for quite some time now, and I finally got around to doing that, so I hope that those videos will be helpful to you. So let's proceed with today's video right away. The first thing that I do on the exam day itself is to get out of bed, obviously, but I don't wake up super early or anything. I wake up at the normal time that I would any other day when I don't have exams. So for high school, I used to wake up at 6:20 a.m. every day, and then for uni, I wake up at 7 every day. So whatever the time is, I just follow back. So I don't wake up super early or anything to revise on the day of the exams. No, I just don't do that. Some of you guys have been asking me whether to like stay up late or to get up early to revise before the exams, and personally I never do that. I've never done that. So when it's the exam season, I just go to bed at the same time, if not earlier, and then I just get up at the same time, because your performance in the exam hall is affected not only by how much revision you've done, how much preparation you've done, but also by your condition on that day. So I try to make sure that my condition is always 100% on that day. I make sure that my mind is fresh and I can think properly. That is why I go to bed at the same time, if not earlier, and I wake up at the same time, even on the exam day itself. The second thing that I do on the exam day itself is after I get out, I just have my breakfast. Breakfast is, of course, the most important meal of the day, and it's called that for a reason. And I have my breakfast every day. I don't actually skip breakfast, but if some of you guys do skip breakfast, like if you don't have enough time or whatever, just make sure that on the exam days you have your breakfast, because not having breakfast may put you in a risk of fainting during the exam, or you might feel tired and your brain cannot think properly without the breakfast. And it's just not worth it if you revised so long for the exam and then you go into the exam hall and then you just can't think properly, although you know the answer at the back of your mind, but because you're too tired, or you might faint. Worst come to worst, you might faint, and it just puts all your previous efforts to waste. So breakfast is so important. Make sure that you do get that breakfast in. Like even a bread is better than nothing. The third thing that I do on the exam day is to recheck the list of things that I need to bring into the exam hall. So obviously the night before, I've already put away the things that I need to bring, but on the day itself, I like to check that all the most important stuff are there, stuff you can't go into the exam hall without. For example, your pencil case, and also if you have a maths exam, then a calculator is important. I just like to go through it one last time to make sure that there's no mistake. And the fourth thing that I do is to wear my watch before I leave the house. So besides my stationery, I think that my watch is the most important thing that I have to bring into the exam hall. So usually in the exam hall, your teacher will refer to the clock on the wall for the time, but if you're seated too far away from the clock, then you can't see the time properly, and it becomes a problem, because like one of my biggest worries in the exam hall is that I do not have enough time to complete the paper. So I always make sure that I could glance at the time every like 10 minutes or whatever to make sure that I still have enough time. If not, I can increase my speed of doing the question paper. So to do that, I need to wear my watch at all times. And when you go into the exam hall, just make sure that you compare your watch with the clock on the wall, so you can see like how many minutes of difference it is, and then you can just refer to your watch again. And then the fifth thing that I do on the exam day itself is I would read my short notes hours or minutes before I enter the exam hall, although it's not guaranteed that I will remember it, but I would just read all the most important notes for each subject. So I'll tell you what I read for each specific subject. So for Bahasa Malaysia, I usually read the list of quotes and the list of peribahasa that I have prepared. I go through it again because for writing karangan, that is an important criteria to get A+, so I make sure to reread that. And then for English, I'll be reading idioms and quotes also that I have prepared in an A4 paper. I'll just go through that again. And then for modern mathematics, I'll go through a list of formulas that are not given in the exam hall. For example, how to convert to radian, how to convert radian to degrees, and all that stuff. For biology, I'll be reading over my essay plans that I have prepared previously. So basically what I do for biology is, because essay contributes a huge amount of mark to the overall paper, so I would always try to spot essay questions and prepare for it, because it's impossible to prepare like all the essays in Form 4 and Form 5. It is impossible to guarantee that I will remember all of it, so I will just try to spot a few essay questions, like predict which essays will come out, and I'll prepare it in a list of paper. So right before I enter the exam hall for biology paper, I will be reading my essay plans. And for sejarah, I basically do the same as biology, because for sejarah, essay questions are super important as well, and there are just a lot of facts to memorize, so I would also predict essay questions which could come out for sejarah. And then for chemistry, I'll be reading experiments. For moral, I'll always bring a list of all the 36 nilai that we need to know, and I'll be going through the way to answer the exam paper as well, the technique. And now we'll move on to the 16th that I do on the exam day itself, which is to say a prayer before the paper starts. So I'm sure some of you guys have the habit of doing this. I always had the habit of saying a little prayer before the exam starts. So I'll just pray to God that I can remember everything that I've learned and that I do not make any careless mistakes. I think that if you are really nervous for an exam, saying a prayer can really calm you down. The next thing that I do is something which I do after I have already finished the entire exam paper, which is to recheck my answers. So the way I recheck my answer is I will do every single question from page 1 to the last page. From the first question to the last question, I will just reattempt every single question again. And if it's maths, then I would be calculating every single question again to make sure that I don't make any careless mistakes. If it's essay for BM or English, I will just proofread the essay and see if there are places where I can improve my sentence or add any idioms or peribahasa or quotes. I'll just do that. When I'm rechecking essays for subjects like biology and sejarah, I make sure to go through every essay question slowly and see if I can come up with more answers. So whenever I answer essay questions, I will just leave a lot of spaces blank after each question, like there's 1A and I write down the answer, and I'll leave a lot of lines blank before going to 1B, because I know that I'll have time to go through it again later and maybe I could think of more answers later. So if I do think of more answers, I make sure that there is more space so that I can add on my answers. Rechecking your answers is so important, and is something which I have always done since primary school, and it has saved me a lot of marks since primary school. And then the last thing that I do on the exam day itself is try not to think of the paper after I've finished it. So discussing answers with your friends is of course unavoidable, and you'll be tempted to discuss questions and answers with your friends. And then if you figure that you have made a careless mistake, or if you got the question wrong, then it will definitely affect your mood. But all I can say is what's past is past. You have already handed in your exam paper and you can do nothing about it. So the most important thing now is to look forward to your next exam, is to prepare for your next exam. So I try to ask myself to focus on the next exam instead of dwelling on the last one. So that is my exam day routine. It has been this way since primary school, high school, and now even in uni. It has worked for me so far. And for those of you who are having trials soon, I wish you all the best. And if you want to know what I do one day before the exam, I do have a video on that, so I'll just leave a link in the description box below so you can watch that after this one. That's all for today's video. I hope that it has been helpful in some ways. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.